Alright, we're back. Let's continue. Oops, I didn't read that. What did that say? Mr. Ram's claims he was in the orca pool room so he can make these statements. But the truth is, he must have been at the show stage, just as Dr. Crab and Sasha testified. I believe that brings us back around to the orca didn't do it. I didn't believe the witness's testimony from the outset. I'm grateful to you, Wright, for shutting the witness up. I thought the only person who could have killed the victim is Sasha Buckler. That fact still remains, whether the witness was the one who tried to kill the orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rams is right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case. Pointing out the contradiction in his statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwell said, suspicion against Buckler is now deepened. Uh-oh, if I don't do something fast, the judge is gonna find Sasha guilty. Mr. Wright, is there anything we can do? There has to be a way to prove Sasha is innocent. At a time like this, the thing to do is to turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sasha couldn't have done it, I have to think about what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. As long as the crime scene is the orca pool room, Sasha is the only one who could have committed the crime. No need for pity, your boldness. Just finish him off with a swift verdict. Here's the defense has no objections. Very well, I'll give him a verdict.
Hold it!
Your Honor, please hold off that verdict. But you're so quiet, Mr. Wright. Do you have something that you want to say now? Defense has a counter-argument. You do? Beautiful, such desperation. You look pale. Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give them to him with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now. As I understand it, the prosecution's argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the orca pool room. Only the defendant and the victim entered the room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That is correct. But the scene of the crime was not the orca pool room, and somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Are you sure you know where you're going with this? I may not be too sure, but I can't back down now. Mr. Wright, I hope that I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance. Of course not. The judge knows me far too well. And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was? Yes, of course. Big Phoenix, think of a place other than the orca pool room where one could fall to one's death. Then by all means, please share your theory with the court. Where is the real scene of the murder? I mean, the show pool, I guess.
Take that!
The show pool stage, the show stage pool might have been drained of the water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just possible to fall to one's death there's the orca pool. Alright, Dono. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I certainly hope you have some basis for your suggesting. Of course I do. Well, as soon as I think of something. The victim's body was found in the orca pool. How do you explain that?
Objection!
How about if, after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the orca pool? How about if, what kind of presentation of your argument is that? You better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved. There's no turning back now, I have to think of a way the body could have been moved. There's something at the scene that could have been used to move the body. I mean, the stretcher thing. The hoist runs between the orca pool room and the show stage. The stretcher can be strung from the hoist to move things like oil or the skull rock. The stretcher could also be used to move the dead body. Yes, if the stretcher could move the orca or the skull rock, it seems likely you could also move a dead body as well. Oh, somehow that worked. I just might be able to pull this off. The ship was the scene of the crime, then someone else could have done it.
Objection!
You desperately spew conjecture, and now you even make up a crime scene. Ah! Eek! Not again! You don't have the soul of a warrior, you don't deserve it to be on the battlefield. Even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean half-baked? So this can be operated from the Okapu room only. Ah. The only person who entered the Okapu room was the defendant. So when the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself. Ah. Order. So it comes back to the defendant, no matter which pool it was. Meaning, I can't clear Sasha either way. I just said she moved Orla on the skull rock. And to believe her. So could it be possible that she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Busker Blackwell's claim? Do I have an objection to the claim that the defendant moved the body? No. I have no objections. Miss Buckler must have been the one who moved the body. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No, I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware of what she was doing. The court made her move it, unbeknownst to her. The defendant moved the dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body. How could that be possible? The body was found in the Orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. Might find some kind of hidden thing she moved with a stretcher. The culprit made Miss Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence. The skull rock.
Take that!
The skull rock! Miss Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the skull rock when she was cleaning. Only two things Miss Buckler moved with the Orca pool are Orla and the skull rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the skull rock. What? Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the Orca pool room without the hoist. At the storage stage, Marlon Rhymes loaded up the skull rock with the body inside. Then he used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. Miss Buckler operated the hoist from the Orca pool room and moved the stretcher. He moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you think there's enough space inside the skull rock to place a body? Those pockets protect their infinite could it be possible? Let's focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh, it says, who obtained the golden coins inside in the skull rock? Okay, so I suppose the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the skull rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as... Let's look at the security footage Mr. Plume witnessed. Where'd the body that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall, what was Ola doing to the skull rock at the time? She was headbutting it. Oh. That's right, Ola's ramming released the body from the skull rock. The body had been placed inside the skull rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was in fact the show stage pool.
Silence!
What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of evidence.
Objection!
It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the skull rock for yourself. You should find some kind of proof that the body was there. Blood, fibers, hair. Gah! Right, don't know. Mr. Wright, that was incredible. You turned things completely around. And to think, it all started with that half-baked bluff, too. Phew, that was a close one. Do you have to add that last bit? The murder took place at the show stage, and who is the perpetrator? It is, naturally, the person who is at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, were you the one who loaded the skull rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Well, Mr. Wright, that was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it can beg to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony before, Mr. Rhymes? It's perjury. Yeah, what Mr. Wright says is true. But he was inside the Skull Rock. And it's true the captain was killed in the showroom pool, too. What? He's admitting it that easily. This time, I'm gonna tell you the whole truth about what happened that day. Are you still gonna say Orla did it? The whole truth. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember the spectator's screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. Mr. Bloom witnessed the orca finding the body, freaked. So now we're back to the orca again, I see. You're going to give testimony like that. Why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. Let's say Sasha wanted the old version of the Swashbuck Spectacular. She hid the body in Skull Rock and moved to the orca pool. I was gonna figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca is the one that killed the captain. It wasn't me and it wasn't Sasha. So it was Mr. Rhymes' idea to hide the body in the Skull Rock. But if Mr. Rhymes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? All charges against Sasha would mean he himself would escape suspicion. So why? Mr. Wright, how about if you leave this to me? Athena, do you mean you heard something? Yep, noise, discorded in Mr. Rhymes' heart. So that means somewhere in his testimony there's inconsistency in his emotions. Alright, Athena, give him a good counseling session. You got it, boss. Again, we just do this, and it's fine. Huh? What's this? What are you getting, Athena? This testimony is pretty complex. I think the deep sadness and intense anger are being called up. The two emotions appear to be running out of control. Out of control emotions. Is that going to be a problem? What to prove their cause if we want to get to his true emotions and testimony? There may be other unnatural spots in testimony where he's even aware. Alright, let's probe the cause of his out of control emotions then. I'll explain how to probe. Let's find the root cause together. Prevent something off in a statement, hit the probe button, then point to what's causing his out of control emotions. Finally, tap the probe to complete the process. Emotions are out of control, memories can be recalled incorrectly. Given some found anything after all the statements and images, I'll help. Alright. I guess I could start comparing the statement to the images. I feel like it's this, because that is the one thing that doesn't line up. Oh, is it? Is it Shipley's body, maybe? That doesn't appear to be the cause of his out-of-control emotions. What could be the cause of his out-of-control sadness and anger? Hard to find them both at the same time. Let's concentrate on probing just one. He'd make an odd statement I was wondering about. I doubt there are any spectators. Yeah, I was getting at that. It's just I did the captain instead. I don't need to hear it again, Athena. I got it. This is DLC. I mean, I know people guys could play this first, and so you need to do this, but like, I know what to do. Okay. I just hit the wrong one. There. I doubt that there were any spectators there at the show stage when the owner died. If there had been, those witnesses would have been told us the true crime scene right away. What? Oh, right. Of course, I just made a mistake. Okay, that made the sadness subside. Maybe the spectators part was making him sad. I wonder where I'd make that mistake saying spectators were there. How strange. The thing I think of is that he's mixing up one memory with another. Like, He was in a similar situation before, and it was deeply imprinted on his heart. A situation where an orca killed somebody and there were spectators there. Hey, I think I know what he's mixing up his memories. The reason Mr. Rhymes mixes his memories is... Azura Summers. Mr. Rhymes, I think I know what happened. Could you have been mixing up what happened a year ago with this incident? Maybe that's why you slipped and said the owner was killed in front of spectators. What? How did you... You're right. I did see the orc kill somebody a year ago. But what about it? Now we're just one of the spectators. Really? Just another spectator? Must have been a reason why you feel great sadness about that incident last year.
Silence!
Stop this nonsensical scrutiny of feelings. Stop spin errands to prove your point. Boss, do we have any kind of evidence that would back us up here? There's one piece that comes to mind that might explain your sadness. Well, I'm waiting. Let's see this evidence that has to do with Mother Rhyme's sadness. I mean, the charm?
Take that!
Azura Summers died in an accidental death 1 year ago. This is her boyfriend's charm. Hey, what are you doing with that charm? It was found in Rifle's stomach yesterday. Judging by your reaction, I believe this charm belongs to you. I guess I need to push him just a little harder to make him admit it. Mr. Rhymes studied the word charm. He is very rattled. Better examine this charm a little more. Good idea. Let's look inside it. Huh? What's this? A photograph? Oh. Well, there you go. Hey, this is... Azura Summers and Marlon Rhymes. Mr. Rhymes, you and Azura Summers were a couple, weren't you? So what if we were a couple? Doesn't have anything to do with the captain's case. You believe you saw the orca kill your girlfriend. That's the cause of your sadness. And that emotion of yours connected to the current case.
Silence!
One thing you revealed was the witness's relationship with the victim a year ago. What does the witness past have to do with the case at hand? I don't know yet. We managed to pinpoint the source of his sadness. Let's delve into Mr. Rhymes. Who Mr. Rhymes is angry about? Well, there's a couple options here, but considering he tried to kill Orla, let's try Orla first.
Got it!
Mr. Rhymes, you're angry with Orla, aren't you? Angry at an orca? Why would I be? If you think I have some reason to be mad, then show me some proof. Do I have proof that Mr. Rhymes has a reason to be mad? I mean, yes? The evidence we just took a look at would come in handy here. This charm indicates that you were Azura Summers' boyfriend. I'm sure you believe Orla killed your girlfriend a year ago. But you lost your girlfriend, so you've been angry at Orla. Yeah. Alright, I'll admit it. I never forgive that orca. Azura's dead, and then orca is swimming around happy as a clam. Give me that bookkeeper just so I can prove that orca is a killer. You're right. I want that orca to pay. There. Do you feel good dragging up a person's past? It doesn't change anything. It's not quite clear yet. He's right. I disagree. It does change things. His out-of-control emotions quiet it down. Nobody's able to find the truth behind that emotion.
Got it.
No, that's not it. That was not it. It was not that he was mad. He's been mad the whole time. He's mad about the whole thing.